What it do, what it does, baby. It's your man's Rod to Dime.
Yes, sir. It's your favorite nephew, Darius, and this is Your Aunties Favorite Nephews. We got family in the booth.
We got a good special guest, real good special guest.
Ansari to answer.
Okay, baby.
Okay.
So, look, bro. So, we typically started out whenever we have a guest, how we know the person. I recently met you.
Yes, very recent.
Very recently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I know your brother for over 10 years.
Okay.
You know, damn. Half my life, damn near. You know what I'm saying? I met him when you feel me? I met him when I was 14. Okay. Hands down, the most interesting nigga I had met at the age of 14. When I met him, bro, he running up on the side of walls, flipping, and I'm like, bro, what the hell, you know?
He is a black ninja. He's an acrobat.
Bro, he one of a kind. You feel me? We'll have to get him on here next. But you his brother, and, you know, we got introduced to each other last year, bro, and, you know, it's just been good vibes ever since.
I appreciate that.
You already know. So how was everybody week thus far? You gonna say it's slow?
No, actually, it went by kind of fast. It's been speeding up.
Okay.
Just chilling. Ain't getting to nothing this week for real. Yeah.
Nigga, it's been a whole 7 days. Nah, you gonna sum it up in a sentence?
Yep. I don't think anything off the wall jumped off.
Okay. All right. What about you, bro?
I mean, work. You know, finding a new bag.
Okay.
Stuff in the bag.
Stuff in the bag.
Stacking the bag.
You feel me? Stocking stuffers, baby.
Bag, you know.
That's the answer, nigga. What? Anyway, I ain't getting to nothing this week either. You feel me? Yeah, no. You know what I'm saying?
Get a little closer on the mic.
I ain't gonna lie. But we blessed to make it to the end of the week.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
You know what I'm
every
saying?
Every day, every week is always a blessing.
Each and every time.
It's all about how you end the day, how you start the day, and how you maneuver and the attitude that you got going through it.
And this is why I fuck with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a response, like a positive response, a good reinforcement. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, my attitude, like, moving forward, man, you know, coming where I came from, obviously, you know, the reason that we just meet and you know my brother for so long, I was incarcerated for 20 years. It's horrible in there. Like, it's a black cloud, always raining, always gloomy. I had my bottom.
Okay.
Like, I've been introduced to the devil. I've had to become an animal to survive around animals. And coming up out of that, my attitude is, excuse my French, the fuck I got to complain about.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah,
regardless
we all
of what you're going
here.
through. So it's all about your attitude and how you move forward, man. If you feel like it's a fucked up day and your attitude is fucked up, you have a fucked up day. If it's a fucked up day but your attitude is, I'm gonna make the best up out of it, the day ain't so bad.
And you don't know how your attitude would affect somebody else that's close to you, or
it's
somebody
contagious.
you know what I'm saying? So you know that's real. That's some real shit. But we gonna get into all that.
Okay.
I want to tell y'all about what pissed me off this week.
Okay.
This T.I. shit.
Oh man, same.
Did you hear about it? Are you familiar?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's a lot of allegations coming out about T.I. and his wife. Pretty much, they're sex trafficking. Sex trafficking, what like
Sexual
rape, assault, all this wild shit. And it all started with this one chick who had claimed that T.I. had put a gun to her head in 2007.
Okay.
And from that point, you know, it was just like 30 plus women, you know what I'm saying, that just came out. Yeah, he did this to me too. Yeah, he did this to me too. But the stories was interesting, bro, you know? So pretty much, to sum it all up, him and his wife was like swingers.
No, not swingers. They was just fucking chicks. They would do swingers, like, you know, you can do what you want for the night. Like, they would just have threesomes a lot. So I wouldn't consider that a swinger.
A whole lot of threesomes with different women.
Yeah.
You swinging, nigga.
Nah, you swinging. She get she would be getting dick from other people, other dudes.
I think she was.
I mean, you call it what you want.
Right. Like
allegedly.
Look, freaky deaky. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, bro, all these women was coming out saying, yeah, well, before we even got into the mansion, they wanted us to take this pill or to drink some Molly water. And once we got in there, we end up having sex and he paid me and that was that. But he did me bold. And it's just like, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? At least in my eyes.
Right.
Now, it's a difference if a nigga is like, look, open your mouth, I'm about to force his pill, you know, or he's intentionally drugging these bitches. But you telling me you showing up to my crib, I'm a internationally known rapper, I'm known to have guns, so bitch, it's not gonna be so far out the blue if I was to point a gun at your goofy ass for doing some goofy shit. You know, so, you know, they pretty much attacking him. And something that I always hated, I always hate that when a black man get to a certain like height, a certain level, they break him, you know. And I feel like it's been time and time again. Michael Jackson. We could go to R. Kelly. We could go to
No.
Look, I'm gonna call R. Kelly. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all niggas say.
It's certain shit too.
Bro, it's like 5+ people. You know, I gotta think about them. But you know,
when it's actual shit, I just hate that it's all over social media. Like I'm a stand and die for protecting black women. So if any of this shit is real, he should be, you know, him and his wife, they should be tried and whatever. But they should be tried in court. You got people coming out the woodwork just saying anything on the internet, just kind of smearing them that could be fake or not. And what's coming out now, a lot of the women that's going to the chick that he put the gun to allegedly, they just coming up with anything and she buying it. You could DM her right now off a fake account and say, hey, he did it to me too. You know what I'm saying? He did X, Y, and Z to me too. And that's the thing that I don't like. Right. I don't like that they can just falsely accuse and throw dirt in his name. He could be losing money, endorsements, all kind of stuff for something that's not real. And that's the thing I hated about it, is because when you a man, if they slap anything, you allegedly raped or any type of thing, bro, you're a monster. Without it even coming out. Like I say, if it's true, fuck him, fuck his wife, whatever had to happen, let it happen. But at this point, it's a lot of people coming out the woodwork saying that it's not real, but they just doing it for clout purposes. Then that's where I have an issue with the whole situation.
I mean, it's a possibility that, you know, they could be false allegations or they can be real allegations. I mean, but the truth of the matter is, whether he did it or not, whether Tiny did it or not, you got to be careful, especially with a certain amount of stardom. You don't put yourself in those positions. Yeah. You know, if you don't give someone the ammunition to be suspicious, if you don't give someone the ammunition to accuse you of something, then it has no weight. So if somebody comes out with a false allegation, you did X, Y, and Z to me on such and such date. No, at such and such date, I was at the mosque. On such and such date, I was at church. At such and such date, I was at the park with my kids. Like, you good. But once again, and I'm with the brother, I'm all for protecting our black women, our brown women, our women in general. Yeah. So if any of those allegations are true, I mean, you had your time in court. You let the evidence present itself. I mean, truth stands alone and it stands on itself. However, if some of these allegations aren't true, I think that it's very sad that our black man, our brown man, or just famous people, period, you're a target. You know, you got money, whatever, whatnot. You know, these things will come out the woodwork. I hate that. Hypothetically, if one of the allegations is true and 15 of them are false, the one that's true gets overshadowed. It does. She gets no justice. He gets no justice. They get no justice because these things are true, but everybody else see a dollar, they see an opportunity, and they want to jump on it and run with it. Do I think everything with Bill Cosby is true? Absolutely not. Do I think everything with R. Kelly is true? Absolutely not. But it's a possibility that it's the one. Now, my attitude comes in, if it's my daughter and it's the one, we have a problem.
Facts. Facts.
I mean, I feel like once you get paid, that's a service.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, what the fuck is there to even talk about anymore? You got paid. This was years ago. And the chick that initially came out with it, this happened in 2007. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it should be a limit, and it is like a certain statute of limitation for certain stuff. I mean, I don't want to say I'm pro men, you know, but I feel like niggas just really get overshadowed. And by me saying that, I feel like if a man traumatized you, you need to go the next day, the next month, the next year. But you can't hold shit for 5-10 years and be like, I'm ready. No. You know what I'm saying? Because now this life has taken place. We didn't pass that. If you had an issue with me, you need to address it right then, right there. That's how I personally feel about it. So, you know.
all right. I don't mean to take a left on you.
Shoot.
But do you think our culture, right, talking about T.I. in general,
Okay.
the hip hop culture doesn't play a role in that. Like why you didn't come forward, like the no talking, the no snitching, you ain't real, you this, you that, you know, psychologically, that may have an effect when individuals coming forward, especially in our communities, right? Because our communities pretty much force, you know, you don't talk, you don't go to authorities, like you suck that up. And women in general. I mean, just look how we objectify our women. And, you know, I can't get in the head of a female that had that type of trauma. I'm not a female. I can't relate. I can sympathize, I can empathize, but I can never relate to exactly what you go through, you know, who's in your ear. And then the individual, allegedly, on T.I.'s stature, you know, his power, his goons in the background, lady could have been terrified for her life. So we don't know at what point it would click in someone's head to come forward. So I just personally, you know, as a father and having a daughter and having nieces and cousins that are females, I just want to be a little bit careful with that. I can't dictate where you're strong enough and confident enough to where you feel that you want to come forward. If it happened to you. Because me, I don't care if it happened to my daughter 10 years ago. Yeah. You come and tell me somebody did something to you, to me it happened yesterday. So we got to go take a look at the individual you said and did something to you 10 years ago. Regardless of psychologically what was going on, why you felt you couldn't say something. Now, my daughter told me, ironically, in the conversation, if anybody ever did anything to me like that, Daddy, I wouldn't tell you. Why? Because I'm scared of what you would do. I'm going to lose you again. You go back to prison. And it's a high possibility because I'd be damned if somebody violates my child like that. So she said she would sit on the information. Now, how long would she sit on that information, scared or whatever, whatnot, but still looking at videos and family shows of the individual that was allegedly her abuser or her rapist. But all of that is said towards if it happened. So I'm with that. I'm with the justice of protecting our women if it happened to you. Yeah. I have no sympathy or empathy for you if you're just trying to get $1, if you're just trying to get a clout and you're just trying to get a fame. It's definitely a disservice to these things that happen to our women.
So it water it down. Absolutely. It water down the truth.
So we had this conversation probably like a month ago. We was talking about snitching and being a rat and all that. So when you had mentioned how the culture feel about somebody snitching, like if you're not in that life, that it don't apply to you, you know. So for a regular woman that has a regular 9 to 5, if some bullshit happened to her, she should feel comfortable, you know.
But was this a regular woman with a regular 9 to 5, or was this champagne at the strip club that they done took back to the crib that's in that life?
I mean, exactly. You in that life. So you can't get mad if shit go left if you in that life. If you a stripper and you go into a nigga crib and you know that you are in that life, you know, I'm not gonna say how can I feel bad, but my nigga, if you out here, you out here, and shit can happen to you. Do you feel me? Right. So, you know, I do have sympathy. It's not like it's like fuck all women, but it's like, I mean, we gotta draw a line at a certain point. If you feel some type of way, say something. That's how I personally feel about it. Because, nigga, who the fuck is walking around in fear? Well, I feel like you shouldn't. That's just me, though. You know.
I don't know. It takes certain people time to decode things. I think with men like you yourself, it's a lot of straightforward logic thinking. For a woman might have to decode what really happened to her, you know, to even get the courage to say something. Even like the hypothetical his daughter said, if somebody was to hypothetically abuse her, she would be scared to tell the man that's protecting her father because of the reaction. So she would swallow that so she wouldn't lose him. Because, I mean, any right father, I would do the same. And you would too if you had a kid. So it's a lot of shit to factor in. I don't know.
I feel like that should be an afterthought. I need you to tell me. I don't care. You feel me? But I'm a little different though. I'm kind of a little different. You feel me? But so I really want to get into you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I brought up a nice little list. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna jump around a little bit. You know, I know you a real proactive man in society now. So we gonna touch on everything, bro. So personally, I want to know about your upbringing.
My upbringing. My mom did her best, but I did my best to not listen to shit. And you know how she tried to raise me and you know keep me out them streets. But long story short, man, my upbringing. before my little brother. I'm 12 years older than my little brother. I was the only child.
Okay.
My mom and my dad separated when they was 3. When I was 3. Nothing unique about a young black man in the inner city of Detroit growing up in a single mother home. She working multiple jobs, to pay the mortgage, to keep a roof over the head and keep food in the refrigerator and just be a strong black woman in general. Unfortunately for me, in the way that my mind was working at the time, I didn't acknowledge or appreciate that as a child.
That's deep. That's deep.
I was too caught up in my pain. My daddy not around. My daddy got locked up. I'm growing up in the city, shit hard. I can't have the shoes that I want. I can't have the clothes that I want. And shit, the drug dealers and the gang bangers in the neighborhood, they welcome me in with open arms. They welcome me in as a family. Although my family was a gang in itself. My bloodline is very fertile. I had plenty of cousins, that were more than willing, to bring me in and have that family structure that was actual family. But for me, I couldn't really do what I wanted to do at my Auntie Carolyn house, at my Auntie Linda house, but I can go down the street to Ray Mama in them house and smoke.
They don't give a flying
they
fuck.
don't give a fuck, 'cause obviously I'm not their kid. So the streets just had like many of our black men, they had a pull to me.
Okay.
And I dived in that shit headlong. But at the same time, saying that, man, and even sitting here and, knowing as thorough as I am, I wasn't no hood nigga. I wasn't no gangster nigga. Real talk. I was just pretending.
Yeah.
I was just trying to fit in. Shit, you got drugs, I'll help you sell it. You got a gun, fuck it, I can shoot it too. But, I had a thing. I may regret saying this on the microphone on camera. But I always had to go do number 2 when I had something I had my business doing. And that's how my mama always knew I had
the bubble guts.
I had bubble guts. We about to go out here and go shoot at them niggas around the corner. Like, yeah, let's go. But hold on. Go up in there. And my mama used to always tell me, boy, that's your conscience telling you that shit ain't for you. You scared the shit out your ass and you still running around there and doing it.
Literally scared the shit.
Yeah. But fuck it. Get it out me and still run headlong. Because you got an image to upkeep. But my attitude then was, trying to fit in, man. But in reality, man, you pretend to be something long enough, you basically become that. Whether it's you actually become that or perception dictates that's what you are. I was raised, once again, with my mother, who was raised by her mother and my great-grandparents, was saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You open the door for a woman. You walk on the curve side.
Yeah, you called me sir like an hour ago. I was like, shit.
Regardless of how old you are. To me, it's just all about respect. I don't believe that I wasn't raised that way, that you have to earn my respect. You can lose it very quickly, right? But you don't have to earn my respect to call you sir, regardless of how old you are. You know what I mean? Even if it's an authoritative aspect. You know what I mean? I mean, your household. I come in there and there's a certain respect that's automatically given.
Yeah.
I don't come in here and kick my feet up on your couch. You know what I mean? I ain't got to earn that from you.
Mud,
you know
just tracking mud through the crib.
Yeah, fuck that, nigga, they should have never gave you niggas
you just
money.
right.
Yeah, you don't do all of that. So you come through the door with a certain type of respect. Innately.
Yeah.
I've always had that. But my environment and what I wanted to be a part of, that dictated that I acted a certain type of way. So my upbringing, per se, was a beautiful upbringing. My mom did everything that she could to keep me away from them streets. Unfortunately, I just wanted it. And I got what I wanted. I graduated with flying colors. 20 years in the joint is your degree or the grave. Fortunately for me, I didn't go for the master's. I just got the bachelor's. And the bachelor's is the penitentiary. The master's is the grave. Yeah. And the penitentiary taught me a lot. And what it did teach me was, first day in the joint, this is where the thug niggas is at. These
niggas out here some hoes, but these niggas over here,
these niggas is real. That ain't what I really wanted, but I'm here now. So you gonna have to figure this shit out.
So would you say that your upbringing was average or harder than the average?
My upbringing was average to what my reality was. Like, how can I say what was above average? Like, shit, I wasn't out in Beverly Hills. I don't know how them niggas was living. I know how I was living. Focus, Hope, Wick. You know what I mean? The white cereal boxes and cans in the cabinet. Shit, everybody in the hood had that shit.
Raisins.
And, you know what I mean?
Oatmeal.
Farina. Like, we that's what we did. We made the best of it. For me, we living good. I mean, I didn't necessarily, although we had days where we didn't have food, I can go down the street and eat with my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We
you
spend
eat
in my
regardless,
aunties
yeah.
or whatever, whatnot. But, you know, I can't. If you ask someone else, like, damn, nigga, you grew up hard. But for me, shit, it was everyday living. It wasn't necessarily hard for me. It is what it is. Now, once I start realizing that motherfuckers was living better, you know, and they had bigger houses and white picket fences and Labrador retrievers and shit, I was like, well, shit, let me get rid of my pit bull and let me get a Labrador retriever and try to get me a picket fence. And, you know, you want that grass is greener on the other side type living. But growing up, man, listen, my mama did her best with what she had.
Like
I
most
love her
mothers
for
do.
it. And, you know, I'm a product of my environment, but I'm not dictated by my environment.
Okay.
Being 12 years older than your brother, did he watch you bump your head and learn from that?
Absolutely. I say he absolutely learned from that.
Yeah.
And this is another reason why I don't believe individuals are product of their environments. We grew up in the same environment. I obviously took to the streets.
Yeah.
Kayvon, complete opposite. He seen the police bring me home. He seen me in handcuffs. He seen the motherfucking SWAT team come in that door and drag me up out of there. So for him, you know, I think it was a traumatizing experience to where, like, whoa, like they snatched my brother up and that's how my brother was living. So he did something different. However, it could have had the reverse effect.
Yeah.
You know, like, shit, I look up to him. That's my brother. I'm going to live in his shoes and I'm going to live in his legacy. Unfortunately for me growing up, that's kind of how I was with my dad. Although my dad got his shit together when he got out. Not immediately, but eventually he did. It was everybody telling me how my dad and my uncles was in them streets.
Back in the day.
So I was like, well, shit, I want that same admiration and respect,
Yeah,
and I was trying to build that same type of clout. So it could go either way, but I believe personally for my little brother and me, it had the reverse effect on him. And talking to my mom when I came home, she was so terrified of losing another one of her sons to the streets. She got a lot stricter on him. And I think that strictness and shit, in his mind, it was like, well, man, I'm not Ansari. Like, why are you treating me like this way? Like, I'm good. I'm going to school.
Cool out.
I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. But you scared that I'm gonna get kidnapped, like my brother. So for him, man, I'm very proud of him, man. And I don't say this in a bad way. Like, my brother's a lane. Yeah. My brother's a square. Yep. You know, but I'm trying to be a lane coming home. I'm trying to be a square. I'm not trying to be.
Look,
you know what I mean?
Your brother is the coolest lane.
The coolest.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't say that. I say that in a bad way.
Yeah, no.
Like,
I
you're
get what
you.
you're saying,
I don't
yeah.
think. And I don't mean any disrespect, man, to anybody that's living that life and is in them streets. Like, and I'm just gonna be 100. I ain't got shit to prove to nobody. Like, I know what the fuck I do.
You
to
got
if
your
you push me
bachelor's,
to
nigga.
it, you know what I mean? And I know what it takes to survive. And I definitely got my Akis behind me, man. Like, if I got to make a call, we'd definitely show up on your doorstep if that's what you brought to us. But what I'm saying is, man, like, I don't really think, you know, to be a real nigga, a hood nigga, that I gotta be out here victimizing my community and my people. You know what I mean? I have nothing to prove to you. Like, right now, if a nigga be like, nigga, you a bitch, like, that doesn't affect me in any type of way. I know I'm not. You know what I mean? So you're not identifying or articulating something that I am. But if you test those lines and you test those boundaries, it still has nothing to do with bitch. At the end of the day, it has to do with I'm a man. And I think a man is willing to stand and do what he has to do to protect his blood, his property, and his honor and his family. Point blank, period.
I feel that.
So the environment doesn't necessarily dictate to you are. You dictate to the environment what the environment is. You put into that environment. You know, I'm all for Black Lives Matter. I'm all for getting our communities together. I'm all for protecting our women and all of that shit. But quit talking that shit. Like, I mean, don't talk my ear off. Do it. If you want to make your community better, tell them niggas they can't sell drugs over there. You know what I mean? You want to make your community better, niggas stop killing them niggas. You know what I mean? Like, I understand how black people feel and our communities feel about police killing our black man. Like, it's just the culture in general. But if I'm being 100, I'm walking out my door, nigga. I ain't worried about the police running up on me and killing me, man. I'm not worried about the white man and the powers that be, regardless of what the systematic structure is to keep us in a certain economic bracket, right? And I ain't got shit to do with being black. That got shit to do with black, brown, trailer park trash, white trash over here. It's an economic system and class for the powers that be, but that's a whole nother conversation. But coming outside the door in the communities and how we grow up and what's dictated with how we be, that got to do with your mind, man. Like, you are as you think. You know what I mean? As a man thinketh, so he is. So if you want shit to be better in your community, make shit better than your community. I ain't reaching out trying to change no policies and none of that shit. My community make the policies. Just like we make the street code.
Let me ask you this.
Street code can be different. Yes, sir.
You had mentioned something. You was like, you know, you was listening to the stories about your uncle, your pops, all that stuff. So do you believe in generational curses?
Yes and no. I believe in generational curses. Belief is this. If you believe it. Right? I could tell you.
What do you believe?
What do I believe? Growing up, absolutely, I believed in generational curses because I was trying to follow that generational curse. I believed it. So looking at my uncles and shit, I wanted to be that, so I believed it. That was my thought process. So coming out of that, when I changed my thought process, I broke the generational curse because I no longer believed it.
You was able to identify.
Going back to my brother, he didn't believe that shit. He had the same uncles. He got the same cousins. He's growing up in the same neighborhood. But waking up, brushing his teeth, and putting his motherfucking shoes and socks on and pants on one leg at a time, when he looked out that window, he didn't believe the reality, what the reality was trying to tell him you had to believe. He had to think outside that box. So when I was in the joint, the reality dictated that I had to be a certain type of way. Nigga, you gotta move a certain type of way or you ain't gonna get up out of there. And that's one of the reasons I became Muslim, right? Because the Muslims didn't move the same way in the joint. They weren't at the gambling table. Not saying that some of the brothers weren't, but they weren't at the gambling tables. They weren't stealing. They weren't involving themselves in homosexuality and all of this shit. What they said was, the Quran says this, the Sunnah says this, you're responsible for your own actions, and this is how a man moves. But you like, all these men is telling me I can't move this way. So what the brothers tell me, and this was my email when I was in there, is, okay, well, go be with them niggas. But if you want to be a man and you want to break outside mentally what's going on in here and make it up out of here better, this is how you move. So whether it's religiously or some type of ideology or philosophical, whatever you want to call it, you are what you believe as far as a generational curse or what your environment dictates you are. The environment dictated that I came out of that bitch a worse criminal. That I came out this motherfucker with different type of, not saying that I didn't, but different type of connects and resources to criminal enterprise, and I got to be back in that bitch for 5 years, and ain't nobody gonna give you a chance, and you ain't gonna be shit. I never believed that. I just did some shit. I got caught. These are the consequences for my actions. I got to take accountability for that. But what's gonna happen when I get up out of here? If I never told you I've been in prison, a motherfucker ain't gonna believe that I've been in prison. But damn, you been in prison 20, I've been home 4 months, man. I'm driving into 2021. I got a fucking job damn near just paying me $100,000 a year. I got a pension. I got health insurance. You know what I mean? I got a team behind me that's been in similar circumstances, man, that are starting their own businesses, that are starting their own clothing lines, that are starting their own legitimate hustles, that are investing, that are opening bank accounts, that are establishing credit. I haven't had credit in 20 fucking years. I have no credit history. So when I go and I talk to a banker or whatever, whatnot, they saying, well, shit, you have no credit. Well, why haven't you been working for X, Y, and Z? And I had to explain to them why my absence from society has been so long. Obviously, doors are being closed in my face. But there are people in same situations that said, all right, well, fuck these institutions. These are ways that you can make some revenue. These are ways that you can come up out of that. But the generational curse generation is the people that are giving me ways out of the generational curse because I'm looking at things differently. So when I first got out, there was...
Hold on. Before you even get into that. 20 years is a long motherfucking time.
Is it that long?
I mean, 20 years ago, I was 7 in the 2nd grade. You feel me? So that's long as hell to me. You feel me? Right. You know, so by me saying that, I mean, when I first heard that and a motherfucker actually survived and got out, you know, the first thing that came in my head was like, I'm pretty sure some niggas can't take that.
Absolutely.
And it just off themselves.
Yes.
You know
I've
what I'm
seen
saying?
It. Yes.
And I believe you did. So what kind of mental exercises did you do? Because I believe for a motherfucker to survive some shit like that, from the shit you seen to the reality of time, I believe you could probably move this water bottle with your mind. You feel me? What kind of mental exercises did you do? What did you do to occupy your time so you didn't go maybe full crazy? Because you know, maybe you said you had to adapt into your environment. You feel me?
I had to go full crazy. that's how I survived.
Break
and I'm
that
just
down to a
being
certain
100,
degree.
man.
You ain't
Once
gotta get in that, but you know what was your mindset? How did you have to switch your mind from outside fucking with your little brother, your moms, and X, Y, and Z to now it's niggas looking at you sideways? You know, what was that process for you, G?
Walking in there, man, once again, man, I'm not about to sugarcoat shit. Like I said, I was living the thug life, man, when I was out there in them streets, and I did that shit really well. Gang banging, flying my flag, all of that shit, very well. And I got to the joint, like I said, it was a reality. Like all my gang members, them niggas wasn't there. You know, my uncles and shit, they wasn't there. The generational curse and the reputation, that shit didn't follow me in there. Like I was in that bitch by my motherfucking self. I'm not a big guy now, but I was definitely little. I was 19 when I got locked up. I was 135 pounds, man, at the most. And I had hair at the time, curly hair kid, pretty boy.
Like this nigga.
Hey, this is the wrong shit that you want to walk in the penitentiary with. And I got off that bus, man, and I feel, I don't give a fuck how hard you is, man. I think there is always some sense that, I'm scared. Cause you in there alone,
and you could attest to. I see, bro shaking his head like
because
shit,
at the end of the day, it's really like what prison actually is and your imagination. So the initial getting off the bus was all of the music videos, all of the movies, like everything that you seen. Like like what am I walking into here? And when you have nobody with you, you find out very quick who you are. There was a guy crying and sniffling. I'm like, once again, I was scared. I wanted to cry. I wanted to sniffle, right? But I'm like,
he broke though.
Like that nigga broke.
That nigga broke.
Right? So I'm like, and on the bus, I'm like, hey, my man.
Hey, you might want to tighten up.
Tighten that shit up, bro. Like, nigga, you know where we going? We going to Michigan Reformatory, man. We going to Gladiator School, bro. Don't get off that bus like that. And we shackled together. So I'm like, well, can I get shackled to the other nigga? Like,
they want to hear like, bro, wipe that shit off,
bro. Yeah. So it's there like that Shawshank Redemption when you coming in, fresh fish and all of that, and like, oh, this nigga through. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, what the environment dictates, it was, they sizing you up when you come up in there, and they sized Doggy up, and unfortunately, man, he didn't have a good experience over his years in the joint. So for me, I tapped into crazy, and my crazy was, let one of you niggas try. I'm gonna be the last nigga like that you try. So that's where I went into, and I had my instance to where a nigga tried me, and I'm gonna be real. I lost horribly. I got the dog shit.
That was one of my questions. How did your first fight go?
My first fight went horrible. Just like I said, man, the dude was big. This nigga said, all right, little nigga, this is what you want to do. I'm like, nigga, I ain't no bitch. I ain't none of that shit. Nigga said, give me your best shot. I took this motherfucker all the way back. I gave that nigga my best shot, and it was like, fuck. That was not enough. Like, can we talk this out? You want to give me a hug? Like, come on, bro. Like, why are we doing this to our people? So, I mean, why are we doing this?
Come on, King.
We ain't got to do all of this. So, I fought until I ain't had no more fight in me. But, when it was all said and done, everybody else that was there and, some of the shot callers that was in there, they was like, all right, the little nigga fought. You know what I mean? And it was just like enough. Like, you kept beating me up, nigga. I'll be dead in that bitch, like point blank, period. But I had that nigga respect. That nigga was like, all right, if nothing else, nigga, like
you got heart.
You got heart. And you go fight.
You ain't got power, but you got heart.
Like, that's the advice that I'll give to anybody that's light in the ass going to the joint. If a nigga disrespect you and put their hands on you, take something from you, fight. And I hate to have to say it like that, because it's definitely against the rules. You probably go do some time in the hole. You go do all of that, but you a man. And everybody is testing boundaries to see how much of a man you are in there.
Every day.
And like, even if they take some shit from you and you fight for your shit and they still keep your shit, the next nigga that want to take it, I'm like, damn, that nigga go fight. That nigga ain't gonna be no easy mark. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to go to the hole either. You know what I mean? They don't want to have to go. And my advice after that is, if you still got my shit and I just fought for it, when you get out the hole, nigga, we fighting again.
I gotta check you
we
about
gonna
that.
have to keep doing this shit until I get my shit back. And you just gonna have to establish yourself as a man first. Standing up for your own. And it's just dog eat dog. Ain't no guns in here. Niggas ain't gonna always have your back. You have to be established by you gonna be a motherfucker and stand on your own. But I was always innately scared. I was scared, what if this nigga beat me to death? What if this nigga stab me, I don't come out of it? What if I stab this nigga and kill him and catch another case in here? So all of those things are over your mind. So to answer your question and not to keep going on and on, how did I survive in there or whatever, whatnot? I had to become an animal. I had to become the worst version of me to realize, fuck, I'm the worst version of me. I got to do something better. And it wasn't necessarily like that. You
had to go through the process.
Everything is a process. Everything is a journey. You know, you just can't make a cake immediately by getting some flour, eggs, sugar, not mixing none of that shit up and just throw it in the oven. You just go have a burned up mess. You have to put that shit in there at a certain measurement or whatever, whatnot. So absolutely, my mix had to come in the process.
Would you say prison is made to make or break you?
It's absolutely made to break you. It's absolutely made to what's the word that I'm looking for, to demasculate or emasculate you, like all of that, you know, dehumanize. Like it's absolutely, you know, I've never experienced, and forgive me, and don't let tweets and all of this shit start coming out. I've never experienced, man, growing up, racism. I haven't. You know, I have white people in my family, you know, the most loving people, you know, that I've ever met, you know. So, you know, racism and all of that shit, I never experienced it growing up. But when I got to the joint, man, I was called nigger so much, I thought that shit was my name. You know, I was called boy so much, or you told I wasn't shit so much, like, well, shit, maybe I'm not, you know. And then once again, the statistic dictates that you come up out of there even lower. We already scum of the earth because we caught a case and we have a felony. We're a slave. You've reinstituted to the Constitution that I can make your black ass a slave again, because slavery wasn't abolished a lot, and I hate that. You know, slavery is dead. No, that shit not. Look at these plantations, what's called penitentiaries. Look at these slaves that have 6-digit numbers on their back. Look at the clothing that we wearing that's blue and orange, or regardless of what state you in. Nigga, you a fucking slave. So
and they make money off.
And absolutely, slave labor, you know, and all of that. But you didn't bring up the slave. You didn't educate the slave. You didn't try to give morals, manners, and inspiration to the slave. So the penitentiary is not cultivating none of that shit. You want to know where my inspiration came from? Abdul Rashid, DILANO. You know, all of my akis that's still in that penitentiary, man, that let me know, like, nigga, you can continue to do what you doing and believe what these motherfuckers is telling you are, or you can be something better with what you believe you are. And they wouldn't even tell me what the fuck to believe. What do you believe you are? Who are you? Well, shit. Well, who am I? Who do I believe that I am? Well, figure it out, and then come back and talk to me.
So
how long were you in before you got introduced to?
Nigga, that was my exact next question. Yeah, yeah, that was the question.
Well, I was introduced to. I went to the joint thinking that Islam was only the Nation of Islam. I was going to Mosque Number 1 on Fuqua in Wyoming right before I got locked up. Didn't necessarily suit me. But all I thought Muslims were bean pie, final call, bow tie Muslims, you know. But when I got to the joint, I think I seen Juma letting out. And I seen all of these white guys with kufis coming out. And I looked at the guy like, the fuck they doing? They can't be Muslim? It's like, well, who told you they can't be Muslim? He's like, you don't know nothing about Orthodox Islam? And I was like, no. So the education kind of started from there. But as far as where I really started taking a look at the Muslims, I had another altercation with a guy. This is back when they was giving pop in the joint. I accidentally bumped into him and spilled this guy's pop. You know, I got manners. You know, oh, I apologize, man. Here, take mine. And this guy was still so fucking aggressive. I apologized. I tried to help you clean it up, and I gave you my beverage.
It ain't nothing else I can do.
What else can I do? You know, but he was just so aggressive and wanted the issue. It was the Muslims that stood up. At this time, I wasn't Muslim. I ain't had no squad. I ain't had none of that. But what they said was, they just said it wasn't. And this is one thing that always stuck in my head. That's not just. So the justice aspect of it, the little brother cleaned it up. The little brother apologized, and he gave you his drink. You're transgressing bounds. Like, why are you still persisting with this aggression? And they was ready to go. And I'm like, all right. Now I'm even more worried. Because I'm like, I don't know y'all motherfuckers. Like, I'm not trying to give y'all nothing, man. You know what I mean? And that's what they thing was. Like, I don't want anything from you. So a little segue, I went in reading at a third grade reading level. And I was, trying to teach myself how to read because I had somebody reading my mail for me and the nigga clowned me. I think he just got tired of reading my mail. Like, he clowned the shit out of me. I whooped his ass. But I never wanted to put myself in that position again to where I had to rely on somebody like that. And it was the Muslims that came and started helping me read and not asking for anything. So it was the whole point of we're doing this because it's right. Yeah. We're doing this as a sadaqah. We're doing this as a charity. We're doing this to help you better you so you can help better somebody else.
What was the time
And that was about
frame?
Roughly about 6 months to a year into my incarceration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so
I didn't become Muslim until like 3 years after my incarceration.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you knee deep in the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blood, sweat, and tears in this. I ain't going nowhere.
What would you say is like the amount of people when they're approaching getting out of their sentence that they do some bullshit to get more time to stay because they're not ready to get out? Like, out of 10 people, how many would you say?
About 4, maybe half. I mean, I've seen, whether intentionally or subconsciously or unintentional.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that have self-destructive behavior patterns. I think I did on my way out. Because you've lived in that life for so long. If you have more than 5 years, in my opinion, you think in a certain type of way now that you no longer thought when you were in the streets. And the streets dictate certain action and how you move, in the penitentiary a certain way. So if I've been engineer all of this time, like, nigga, you owe me 3 Roman noodles. If you ain't got my shit on stow day, I'm coming to holler at you. And I'm going home tomorrow. I go home tomorrow. Oh, do I go get these motherfucking suits? Because even though I'm going home tomorrow and I don't get them suits,
I want to be on your ass.
So, it's retarded. It's stupid. But a lot of motherfuckers move and they think like that. Then I ask myself, too, because I seen all of this self-destructive behavior. Nigga, what is you going home to? A lot of niggas ain't had nothing when they got out. And a lot of motherfuckers may hate me when I say this, too. Outside of losing your freedom, for a lot of motherfuckers, prison ain't that bad. They give you 3 hot meals. You ain't got no bills to pay. You got a cot. Shit, you can create an illusion that you was the man in the streets and you was all of this shit. You know what I mean? The gambling
meats,
table.
nigga.
You got all of the honey buns and you got all of the faggots. They sending boys with titties in there now. So some of them niggas is in paradise. With how they living in there. So shit, why the fuck would I want to go home to have responsibilities and to take care of my kids and to do all of this dumb shit that you motherfuckers complaining about every time that I call home because you can't send me a secure pack of some money. So the self-destructive behavior is there. But once again, let's go back to the slave mentality. You think all the slaves were trying to run from the plantation? Like, it's freedom up north. We can goes up north. We just got to get through this river and these dogs and all of these obstacles and shit and, fend for ourselves when we get up there. But master giving us chitlins and everything. Why would we ever want to leave? We's goods here with master. And this is where that mentality comes from, to where motherfuckers don't refocus or rewire their way of thinking, to get out of there. You have to want to get out of prison. Sometimes they go push your ass out. Oh, nope, your time's up. Get out of here. But I'm telling you what they doing. As soon as they push you out, like, yeah, he'll be back. And I done seen people come back in the season. You get out in the summer, you right back by fall. And motherfuckers go right back into their mindset and mentality. Everybody in that motherfucker ain't a Nat Turner mentality. Everybody ain't a Harriet Tubman mentality. Everybody ain't a Frederick Douglass mentality or a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King mentality getting out of there. And I name these people because they've been incarcerated, jailed, or enslaved. And it's something that triggered because they were trained and they were taught to be just like everybody else in the fucking fields. But there was something that clicked in their mind that says, this shit ain't my reality. Like, I'm ready to fight for something else. And to me, man, if you're not willing to die for what you believe in, then what the fuck do you believe in that shit for? When I was gang banging, man, I believe in that shit and I was ready to die for it. So when I said that when I come up out of here, man, and I'm gonna do everything I can to get on my feet and follow the pattern of DILANO, DALION, and follow the pattern of Rashid, these brothers has been in my same situation. I know these brothers is willing to die not to go back. And when I say by any means necessary, it ain't about the bag. It ain't about the gun. And it ain't about selling and destroying our communities. It's any means necessary that anything necessary that I have to do to better my situation legally and legitly, regardless of what the system and the structure is trying to set up for me or not trying to set up for me, I'm going to make it. I'm not going back to that shit. But everybody don't necessarily have that mentality. Because them 3 hots and the cots, no responsibilities, that shit look good for some people. For me, I'm a responsible motherfucker. So, give me all of the issues of what the free world dictates to live how we supposed to live as productive citizens returning to our communities.
How hard was it for you to integrate back into society?
Shit, I'm still integrating.
I mean, but you make it look good.
I mean, I make it look, but once again, man, we come out of a pot of boiling water. You know what I mean? So it's been days in the joint, man, to where, like, these brothers will tell you, man, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to make it. And we done had the same conversations on their end, like, Ansari, man, I don't think I'm going to get through this motherfucking day. But we have a saying, man, when the doors break, you come out with your game face on. So they ain't giving a fuck about your baby mama or who you just lost in your family or how much time you got or what your situation and what your struggle. Nigga, we all in this bitch. We all got struggles, but you come out that bitch with your game face on. So you saying that I make it look good, only been home for 4 months. I know how to come out with my game face on when the doors break.
And based off of me knowing you, your IG page and, the brief discussions we had before we even started this, there's no reason for a nigga to be a piss poor ass nigga. If you been out 4 months and you making money, you say you in a 2020, you know what I'm saying?
21.
Excuse me, brother. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta have that mindset.
Yeah, but let me be clear too. It's all about the mindset, absolutely. But it was also who my support system was.
Your network.
If it wasn't for DILANO the Lion, if it wasn't for Rashid, if it wasn't for my son Solomon, if it wasn't for Kayvon, if it wasn't for my support system, I wouldn't have been able to do none of this. Okay. But the only reason I had the support system is because they seen like this nigga coming out moving and he about his business. So when I say, look, man, I got to get to work, bro. I need a couple hundred. I need a couple thousand, man. They had no issue with giving me money or me saying, listen, man, I got a job lined up or this job now. They had no issue with giving me a referral like that don't line up or whatever, whatnot. We have no issue with investing time, energy, money, and ideas with each other. So it is about the individual, but let's have no illusion. I could not have done this shit on my own. But my team believed in me because I believed in my team. I made the decision, and they also made the decision or already had things established. So I was one of the last ones to come home out of the network. A lot of these brothers came home, and everybody didn't necessarily, make it, but everybody within their own lane, accomplished goals with their own particular network. So I had a good net when I came home, to where motherfuckers was immediately ready to help me out. Even outside of my initial network. I got people on my phone, man, like I have an attitude, man, where I don't need an army, man. I don't need 100 niggas behind me. But I guarantee you, man, I'm sitting at the table with generals. So everybody that you see with me, like they not my shooters. This not my squad. No, these bosses, man, like these generals. Everybody have their own lane. So I mean, if you trying to become something, I'm not gonna sit down with the fucking foot soldiers because you taking orders. I'm trying to sit down with who you taking orders from. So I'm sitting down with the bosses. I'm sitting down with the CEOs because at the end of the day, even if I don't have the CEO money and resources, I'm definitely going to be able to lead that table with some type of knowledge in order to put me in a position where I need to be in. And that's what's been happening since I've been home. I only fuck with bosses. I only fuck with generals. I only fuck with kings. I only fuck with queens.
You put me in mind of Wallow. Do you fuck with Wallow? Do you listen to Wallow?
I have no
or
clue.
familiar?
No, I'm not.
So Wallow did a 25-year ball. He's got his own podcast with Gilly the Kid, and he's like a real positive speaker. You know what I'm saying? I definitely advise for you just to look at his page or something like that.
I will,
just because y'all give me similar vibes. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Just about uplifting them. I can tell between him and between you, like I said, you got to have a strong mental. You know what I'm saying? To overcome some obstacles. Because, hell, some niggas in the free world off themselves. and they out here. You feel me? So, like I said, I really commend you for being able to hold your ground. You know, we done had previous conversation about you standing on the type of shit that you do. You know, I commend you, dog.
Thank you.
You feel me?
I got a question. Dudes going to jail, should they require a woman to stay down? Like, is that selfish to make her wait?
For Rashid. Like.
Is that selfish
He
to
got
make
just as
her
much
wait?
knowledge.
I'm gonna answer this question in 2 ways, and every nigga on their way to or in the joint probably gonna hate it. If she living that life with you and she didn't get caught up, absolutely. If she wasn't living that life, and you know you chose you a Mussolina or a church-going woman, or you know, and she doing her thing, and you made the decision to do that and got locked up, absolutely not.
Okay.
I made the decision.
Yep.
I got locked up. I don't think it's anybody's responsibility to help me get through that. If you don't make the decision to, is it wanted? Is it needed? Is it appreciated? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know, my daughter and my son was 1.5 when I got locked up, and I told both my baby mamas, it's 20 years, it's a long time, live your life. You know, they stuck around here and there. They came in and out. It wasn't necessarily how I would have liked it, but the reality is what it is. So, do I think a woman should be required to ride the bit out with her man? If you love the man,
If you married.
But once, you know, if I'm married and her ass go, I'm being 100. Yeah, you through.
Yeah.
Hey, they're your divorce papers. I ain't waiting on you. I probably ain't be doing. You go get a couple of visits, may put some money in your books, but you know, I'm just being 100. You know what I mean? I have the utmost respect for any woman that then rolled the bid out for any duration of time, for however long, for their man. But I guarantee you, them niggas ain't gonna do the same thing.
Yep.
Period. Better not be fucking sports coat. I don't know if y'all know what that terminology means.
I don't know what the hell sports.
So, so when you going through the joint, man, you hear that a lot, man. She out there with sports coat. Like, what the fuck that mean?
Fresh ass
She's sporting
nigga.
that nigga like a coat. You know what I mean? So that's the sports coat terminology and where that comes from. That new nigga that came along, you know, he all in them guns. You know, niggas in there crying. What you out there doing? Thought you?
Yeah, baby, that nigga gone, right?
Man. But you know, you
Nah,
took them
yeah.
chances or whatever, whatnot, man. So, but once again, the utmost respect for any woman that's strong enough to ride that time out with her man. You know, the best that you can. Now, I just put emphasis on the best that you can. So, speaking to her, but is it a requirement for me? I told my baby mamas, you know, do you? I figure that shit out. You know what I mean?
Really?
And then to me, man, if you a real man, personally, once again, I don't mean to offend anybody, but if you a real man, I ain't the one to be having a motherfucker, even though I know I'm in a situation where I'm bold because I'm locked up, but there's still things that I can do to figure that shit out. And most of these women, I done left you with my kids. Now, I'm the third child now. I was supposed to be the man to provide. So, you know, you got to worry about school clothes and keeping the bills paid and all of that shit. And I'm asking for $300-400 and you to spend all of this gas, time, and energy to come visit. I don't really think we really think about that. You know what I mean? In the long run. And not only that, you got all this time and energy on me. You fucking up any potential of any new man that's a good man to take care of my kids and to be in a good relationship with you or whatever, whatnot. I got the utmost respect for any man that was involved with any of my mother's children, that took care of my baby mama, that took care of my children in my absence, that made it to them games, that made it to them events, that put school clothes and shoes on their back. I have no issue with you, man, like whatsoever. You know, you may have an issue now that I'm home and they see that I'm winning and I'm looking very attractive again. But at the end of the day, that's your girl, bro. You did your thing, man. We can sit down, we can have a beer, we can be cool, we can be all of that. But on the flip side of that coin, to the man, if a woman has took the time for all of those years to take care of you, to be there for you, put money on your books, to come visit you, nigga, be a man when you come home. Fuck them thoughts, fuck them bitches twerking their ass in them strip clubs and all of that. Be with that woman that was with you at your bottom as you climbing your way to the top. Because she deserves that. She put in her dues, and you know she gonna be there when you don't have her. Because I have a similar issue with that. Absolutely.
No, that's hard. Before we get, did you have something? I want to get into your PYPO. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about your artists over here and this right here. Last question about this, then we gonna move on. Leading up to the arrest. You know what I'm saying? For whatever you did. I don't want to get into that. When you woke up that morning, did you know that it was going to go to that degree, or did shit just unravel?
Leading up to the arrest or the crime?
To the crime.
The crime, once again, man, I was walking that life. I woke up, put my clothes on, my gun on my hip, and figure out what my next lick opportunity was going to be, period. You know, any means necessary. If I had to go take it, if I had to go sell that poison in my community, whatever. But I also worked. You know, so I had a hustler mentality and all of that shit. But in the moment and thinking about all of that dumb shit that I was doing, and I ain't get that shit much thought. That shit was just like punching the clock. You know, shit, all right, we got the bag, man, we got these guns, nigga, we go eat, we go stack, we go party, we go get high, and we go repeat, we go do this shit all over again. Now, the arrest itself, it's funny you say that. I woke up knowing I was either going to die that morning or I was going to prison that morning. I can't tell you why, but it was just something in the air. Everything just seemed off. Everything just seemed awkward. And when you got SWAT teams looking for your ass, you're not realizing that they done set up a perimeter. That's actually what it was.
You felt these niggas' energy on the block.
On the block. Because the block wasn't the block.
Yeah.
So as I woke up that morning and I came out, you know, unbeknownst to me, you know, they already got eyes on me. But, you know, Miss Susan, who's normally out cutting her grass, and the kids is normally down the street playing or whatever, whatnot. You know, you come out and I look around, I'm like, this shit just seemed off. And, you know, 15 minutes later, you know, all hell broke loose. You know, they came for me. So leading up to that, yeah, you know, I felt it. But growing up, and it's sad to say, man, for me in particular, I never thought I was gonna go to prison. I always thought I was gonna die. Because everybody told me, if you keep doing this shit you out here doing, somebody go kill you. So I never had the prison talk. I just had somebody go blow your head off. And unfortunately, man, with me masking everything with drugs and pills and drinking, I accepted that reality. So when you accept the reality, or you believe what you are about yourself, whether true or untrue, I start doing everything I could for a nigga to kill me, which is crazy. Fortunately for me, when they came to arrest me, I never not had a gun on my hip back then. And the chick I was with, she kept saying I wasn't gonna come back. This before we even hit the port. Like, you ain't gonna come back today. I said, fuck you mean I ain't gonna come back? What'd you say some shit like
she
that?
done told you.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's that woman's intuition.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, at the time, man, I was selling weed. She wanted me to leave my weed. I'm like, bitch, I'm not leaving you my motherfucking weed. And, you know, she just wouldn't let me leave, so I left it. Then she was like, well, leave me your gun. So I'm not about to leave you my motherfucking gun. Fuck you mean? You know, she was like, I'm just going to the porch. She's like, well, if you leave it, I know you're coming back in the house. So I left it on the thing, and she still didn't want me to leave. Once again, that was that build up.
That whole day was weird.
So when they came to get me, instinctively, I automatically went to my hip, and the SWAT team was yelling, "Don't do it." But when I went, I realized that fuck,
wasn't even there.
I wasn't even there. But had we not went through that, and I pulled my motherfucking gun out, and they wouldn't have hesitated to blow my motherfucking head off, you know, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. So yeah, it was definitely in the air the day of and the build up. But as I was doing all of that, man, like anybody out there that's doing anything, they know they ain't got no business doing, man. We know of, but we not thinking about them consequences. Like, we don't give a fuck. We living in the moment. Even if we is thinking about the consequences, you just don't give a fuck. So until you start giving a fuck, you're not gonna do nothing different. You have to want to do something different.
Okay.
You know, and that's the same thing. And I don't mean to digress, but individuals coming out of prison, they don't rehabilitate, and I hate that word because all rehabilitate really means is going back to what you were. Reform is something different. So they don't reform you in prison. We reform us, the individual or the collective body that you're dealing with. Like with the brother Rashid and the brother Delano. If I was on that bullshit in there, or if they was on that bullshit in there, we wouldn't have been fucking with each other. So we had to want something different outside of what the community of prison dictated. And not only that, what we were about to be reintroduced to when we came out. Because I done ran into a lot of old friends since I done been out. You know what they call me? Ace. You know why? Because that's what they last remember. They don't know Ansar. So, oh man, what up, Ace? What up, my nigga? What up? You know, like, I'm none of these things no more. We ain't doing no gang handshakes. We ain't about to go out and chill and all of that because I'm not that same dude. But it don't take long. They test you. They definitely test you. You want the bag? You want this gun? You want to go hang out?
You held it down. You ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah.
So when you not doing none of that more, and they see how you moving, and they see in the crowd that you moving with, they attitude change or they disappear. I have no problem with the disappear. I have no problem with the change. You're more than welcome to come along. You're more than welcome to come to the mosque and let me build on you and give you some energy or whatnot. If you can take this new energy that I'm giving, because you definitely took the old energy. But when you move in a different type of way, and you coming up out of that situation, I give the utmost respect and credit to that individual because you wanted it. Because we see so many of our black men and our brown men and our women coming out of these situations going right back to that shit because the streets go welcome you with open arms. But at the same time, they weren't loyal and helping you and holding you down when you was in there. But, I don't have time for fake love. I'm all about genuine love. Okay. And genuine love, first and foremost, is self-love. So until you love yourself enough to want better from yourself, everybody else around you can't give you the same thing because you don't know how to give it to yourself. And that start with yourself. That's your reform. That's your mindset. That's your thought process. And the fact that you're willing to die for that. So I'm willing to die for the man that you see in front of you now. Just as I was willing to die for that little thug nigga that had 20 years of my life stuck in that penitentiary.
Gotcha. Let's talk about your brand, man, or whomever brand it is.
So the brand is within itself. First and foremost, I'm gonna speak on the DALION Nation. The founder and co-founder of the Lion Nation is DILANO the Lion. So he is the driving force behind the Lion Nation. The Lion Nation is it's a movement. We're not only music. We are off in all type of ventures, and we are looking into other avenues. So obviously, we're in the music. If you haven't heard it already or you haven't got it, The King of Detroit, DILANO the Lion. Definitely go get that. Okay. Karma's about to drop in February. Definitely go get that. We're working on the Lion Nation Studios down at Greenfield Plaza. Hopefully that will be up and running roughly around the end of February, sometime in March. Stay on my IG at Unlikely Connections on Instagram and or at DILANO the Lion and or at the DILANO the Lion Nation. Okay. To keep posted on that as well. So we're also looking in to clothing brand as well, as you see here, the Lion Nation. So we just all about a movement, man. Hustlers, go-getters, individuals that's trying to get up out them trenches. We deal with lions, we deal with lioness. It's power in that. The lion is the king of the jungle, man. You see that lion coming, you see that mane, like you get out the way, man. The lion ain't purring. That lion is
coming to kill you.
Vicious. He's coming to kill you. And or demanding that respect. You know what I mean? This is my domain. This is my pride, and it comes with the utmost respect. Another general that we affiliate ourselves with is Tez at People. Put Your People On. Okay. The movement that the brother is moving, man, is remarkable in my opinion. And once again, these are individuals that we were all sitting down in that plantation in that penitentiary with. That had an idea and a mindset, man. When we come home, we gonna make a way for ourselves. Okay. Support your people. Put your people on.
Put your people on.
I mean, we all like looking good, and it's good quality fabric, man. These good quality hoodies and t-shirts. We working on jeans now. We working on belts and how to expand. But at the end of the day, man, my attitude is this: the Lion Nation, Put Your People On, is us and our communities. We putting money in our pockets. Now, obviously, personally, I'm not putting money in your pocket or whatever, whatnot, but I'm supporting your venture. You know what I mean? Like, we going to fucking with Gucci. I have no problem with Gucci. We going to fucking with Louis Vuitton, and we going to fucking with all these other name brands, but they not reimbursing and putting back in our communities.
And they cost 10 times more.
They cost 10 times more, whatever, whatnot. So, whether it's just cheaper, the same price, or higher, if you have good food at a higher price, and Betty Sue has good food at a lower price, but it's more popular, I'm going to pay the extra $5, $10 to come with you because your taxes, your resources, the people that you are hiring, they look like me. They're not hiring us. They're not making our clothes. They're not putting resources back in our communities, in our schools, in our education, and community projects for returning citizens and things like that. Some of them are, and I applaud you, right? But,
the vast majority.
You know what I mean? The mass majority, whatever, whatnot. And even somebody that's famous, I don't want to name any names, but people of color, that have got so famous and they're out there. And I congratulate you and applaud you too in what you're doing back to your communities. But the movement of the Lion Nation, the movement of Put Your People On, is about grassroots in our communities making that shit better. And we fucking with niggas in the street. We fucking with women in them streets. And I have no issue with a street nigga. I have no issue with a chick with however you want to dress and present yourself or whatever, whatnot. But at the end of the day, regardless of how you present yourself, you're trying to keep a roof over your head. You're trying to make sure that your children are living better than you. And you want better for your children, right? So when Jesus came, bro, when Isa alayhi salam came, he didn't come for the motherfuckers living in the mansions. He came with them killers. He came for them tax collectors. He came for them dope dealers. He came for them prostitutes. He came for them motherfuckers that was in them trenches. We from the trenches. And we can cry and complain all day about being in that shit, or we can create opportunities because we come from that shit and pull each other out. We don't have a crab of a bucket mentality. I have no issue with no man. I have no issue with no woman and what your hustle is. I support all of you. There's somebody else, Cash Addict. I support you. Boss Wear Apparel, I support you. All of you women out here that's doing eyelashes and weaves and all of that and nails and trying to get your shit up and running, like, I support you. I would rather buy that shit from you and have my daughter buy that from you than them Koreans that's taking the money out of our communities and taking it back to their neighborhoods and all of these other ethnicities that are coming to our neighborhoods and taking them out. Yeah. So the brands, these are the brands, man. And I respect these brands that I'm naming once again because we coming out the penitentiary. Like, we breaking the mold. Like, we coming out the penitentiary, nigga, and you think I'm a thug or you think it's this stigma. And once again, I own that shit like a badge of honor. I done did 20 in the joint. And the reason I wear it like a badge of honor and the reason I want you to turn your face up and the reason I want you to be like, is because when you see everything I'm doing, you'll be like, well damn, you're doing quite well. And I also, not saying that I'm trying to be a poster child or none of that, man, because I'm just like anybody else. I just want you to know that it's possible. Like, I got to wear it because I need you to see it. Because there's so many people that's doing it and they don't highlight that shit. We not getting news articles. We not being on TV. They not supporting it and pushing that shit forward. We need to embrace what we were, what we've become, and what we're trying to accomplish. And when the slaves came out of them plantations, they didn't get them the 40 acres and a mule, but they went to go find a fucking mule and 40 acres. They created their own opportunities. They supported themselves with Black Wall Street and things of that sort. And every time they was trying to do it, they would come in and try to destroy that shit. And we would try to rebuild it. They would come in and destroy it, and we would rebuild it. This generation and what we're going through now, we have to come in and rebuild it. We have to police our communities. We have to protect our women. We have to make our own brands and support our brands. We have to open up businesses and hire our own. We have to start teaching our children how not to go to the fucking penitentiary or slide down a fucking stripper pole or put yourself in a position to where a man isn't respecting you as the queen that you are. We have to start acting like kings. I can be something as far as the music that I listen to and like what I like, right? But I don't have to kill my own people. I don't have to destroy my own community in order to feel good about myself, or in order to feel like a man, in order to feel respected, right? No man should be feared. No woman should be feared. But we live in a culture of fear. We live in a culture of getting down on the next person. But who put that in your head? Who said you had to believe that, right?
That's deep, man. Well, hell. I feel like we need a part 2, man. I feel like we need a part 2. My man, so you done pretty much plugged everything that from my knowledge, but reiterate everything that you want people to follow, that you want people to support. I see you got your mans over here. I actually want you to say something so people can put a face on you. You know what I'm saying? I see you got a music video. Yeah. Come over here. Just try not to kick the camera, baby. You been... Right, just say your name, what you about. I seen it.
My name's DILANO the Lion. I've been rapping since I was a kid. Been to prison, been in the streets, raised by a single mom, only child. You know what I'm saying? My Ansari in the joint. You know what I'm saying? I don't got shit to prove. You feel me?
You making it do what it do.
You know?
All right, well, look, what's your tags, bro? What's your tags? I seen the music video. you a couple of days ago. I don't even know where you was at, but it was 1,000,000 cars. I seen a few music videos of yours.
Michael
You
Phelps,
feel me?
Michael Phelps.
Yeah, you doing your thing. You doing your thing. So plug your stuff so people can follow you and all
Follow
that.
me on IG at DILANO DALION, DILANO DALION. I'll follow you back.
All right, my G. Well, look, man. We gonna get ready to sign out, but man, I feel your whole crew, man. I feel your whole crew. I seen bro a lot. Nice meeting you. I don't know what your energy is, bro, but I'm fucking with you. You feel me? Like he's just in the corner, like, yeah, nigga, I want to add, but this your show. You feel me? But yeah,
feel free to ask, man.
Right. You got anything to plug in? Look, I'm gonna talk to him personally after the show. You know, we're gonna make it do what it do. But yeah, it's your dog, Rod.
I want to also, before we leave, come over here, plug yourself, man. This is an artist that's with DILANO DALION.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Fire.
All right. Yeah.
Ears open to the streets. He will be coming out.
He coming out. All right. Plug everything, my G. Right. You feel? Look. Pull the mic up a little bit. Make sure everybody hear you. Plug everything you got, my guy.
Good. Shit. Shit, man,
Making it do what it do.
Give me your IG, man.
Man, my IG, Big Brazy, man.
Big Brazy.
Yeah, big.brazy _.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate you, Brazy. Hell, you know, you
I ain't really got too much to say, man.
You feel me?
He say everything on the mic in the booth.
Hey, look, there we go. That's where we needed that. He get paid for it. You feel me?
Absolutely.
It's your man's Rod to Don. Follow the IG at Rod_DA_Don_. Follow the dog page, Go Fetch Kennels. We got some magic going with Go Fetch Kennels. Stay tuned, baby.
Yes, sir. His favorite nephew, Darius. This is Your Aunties Favorite Nephews. Make sure y'all jump on that YouTube. Keep subscribing. We appreciate all the love we've been getting. And as always, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but here's Your Aunties Favorite Nephews. We're entitled not to give a fuck.
Boom.